Let's get to it, I guess. Let's start off with our good friend Peter Hanna of Peter's Political Perspective. He is a conspiracy theorist, an election denialist. He's into all sorts of conspiracies. He believes he was abducted by aliens. He's a big fan of the My Pillow guy. So let's take a look at what he has to say today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have won.
We did it! Mission accomplished banner unfurled, okay? We did it, folks.
So exciting. I have a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that we've won.
A lot of it. All of the evidence. So much.
The battle is over. World War III has been a major success.
Did you guys... Now, I don't pay a ton of attention, and in fact, like early next month, so in the next week or so, I have an appointment to get tested for ADHD. So, you know, I'm pretty out of it a lot of the time. I'm not the most focused individual, but I feel like if World War II was happening, I would have noticed, you know? Or World War III, rather. World War II happened. World War III. If World War III was happening, I think I would have noticed. I'm a big Star Trek fan, okay? The eugenics wars, I will notice them when they happen, and I will be prepared for when the Vulcans show up and save us all from our own barbarism. Anyway, Peter thinks World War III happened.
We haven't seen major casualties or anything like that, considering this is the biggest battle all in American history, and it's gone so smoothly. The casualties have really been kept at a minimum, and I'm very excited about this.
World War III! We all thought it would be nuclear Armageddon, but actually, it was so subtle, no one noticeably died. It's impressive. It's pretty good. Pretty good job. Good job, imaginary shadow cabal. You're nailing it.
Long story short, if you want to know how Trump is doing, amazing. He's doing amazing. My name is Peter Hanna. This is Peter's Trump Update. So, giving you an update on Trump. Guys, if you want to know a lot of details about how he's winning, what's going to happen next, and all these exciting, juicy details, I literally cannot tell you. It's against community guidelines on YouTube. So, I'll be telling you all of it on my next episode that's going to be released, I think, tomorrow or the next day on my Rumble account exclusively, because
I'm so excited for that. We're going to be covering his Rumble content. I'm going to have to screen it first, obviously. But when we can, we're going to go ahead and check out his Rumble content. Because if it's something that he thinks he can't post on YouTube, and he already breaks YouTube's TOS quite regularly. Pretty interesting to see what he's going to put on Rumble when he thinks all the training wheels and restrictions are off of him. I'm afraid it's gonna get bad, but I guess we'll find out. What, not on Frank? No, unfortunately Frank's speech is still not... Let's take a look at Frank's speech. Frank's speech, for those who don't know, was Mike Lindell, the Pillow Guy's attempt at a social media website. At no point could you make an actual account, and there were no social media features whatsoever. It was just him posting shitty articles and doing an awful live stream.
Checkers.
Which is archived here.
And you know what? And Alan was pretty brave to come on. But what he was saying, they do, and there's different ones that do it.
Anyway, this isn't about Mike Pillow, who was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. I gotta check that out.
Because they won't even allow me to put this video up. It's way too truthful. Peter's got high perspective.
It's not that he's just lying and spreading fake conspiracy theories. And lying is a weird word, because the thing is, I think Peter's actually probably someone who believes the things he is saying. To him, they're not lies. I don't think Peter is going into this going, I'm gonna lie to people. I think he's just wrong, and he himself has been lied to enough that he has bought into the lie, and he is, without intention, helping spread these lies that he's been told by other people, like Mike Lindell or Sidney Powell, all these people, Lynn Wood. Like, he's been lied to, and now he's spreading their lies further. So he's unintentionally lying, and it's such a shame.
Perspective, politics. I mean, Peter.
I talked to Baja about this earlier today too, and Peter, who is 32 years old, his room looks like my bedroom looked like when I was like 16 years old. Like, I had a TV that I had bought with some money I'd saved that it was like the same size as that TV. I had a laptop on a desk. I had posters on my wall with no frames, just either tacked up or taped up. Peter, you're 32. Friendo, buy a frame. Don't put posters on your wall without frames if you're an adult. That's the one adult thing that I know you need to do, okay?
Sky High Politics was initially going to be an uncensored show, but since I can't post on Frank's speech...
No one can post on Frank's speech because it was a scam. Okay, I'm using that word pretty liberally, too. I don't think Mike Lindell intended for it to be a scam, but he is also a boomer who had no idea what would go into building a social media website, and he hired probably the lowest bidder to do it, and it turned out to be a disaster. So...
On the first episode, I had to censor a little bit, and second...
You feel called out? You should. Buy a frame. They're not expensive. They're not expensive. Buy a frame.
Show I had to, like, speak sarcastically, get information out. For the third episode of Peter Sky High Politics, I'm going to be completely uncensored, but you only be able to watch it on Rumble. So I recommend you check that out. It's gonna be reveal everything. But I can give you the general gist of what's happening without giving out the details. Based on...
Canvas paintings don't need frames. No, I have canvas stuff all over my house, but it has, like, its own frame, basically. It's, you know, it's canvas wrapped around wood. It's a thing in and of itself. I'm saying if you have a paper poster like the one Peter has, it just looks cheap to just, like, tack it up on the wall. Buy a frame.
Incredible sources, and I'm talking about Donald Trump Jr., Donald Trump, General Flynn, Lin Wood, Mike Lindell. These are my sources. Only these people. And
I'm just saying, if you have, and this is, I'm not judgmental on the vast majority of things. This is one petty thing that I'm judgmental on. If you like the poster enough to put up on the wall, spend an extra $10 or $15 to put it in a thing to make it look nice so it doesn't look like you just put a piece of paper tacked up on your wall. I don't think that's crazy, right?
And I don't...
Flags don't count. Flags are flags. You can just put those up. You don't need a frame for a flag.
Don't use other sources now. Because...
I am yeah, you're right. I'm dying on the frame poster hill. This is the hill I choose to die on. But at least I'll be dead.
Because I found if I want my show to be accurate, I have to use people who are...
That's true. This isn't his house. This is his parents' house. So maybe they have a no frames rule.
Directly working with Trump, that have been proven to be working with Trump. And so, based on these sources, it appears to me that World War III is over. The battle has been won. It's game over.
Peter, World War III didn't happen yet. If World War III happened, it would probably be the end of the world. Because nukes exist. World War III has not happened. Stop listening to Lin Wood and Sidney Powell and Mike Lindell. They are lying to you or they are delusional themselves and spreading misinformation.
The deep state. That's why you see Lin Wood calling out the Illuminati, being like, I don't fear you.
The Illuminati do not exist
anymore because they don't have power. If you call out the Illuminati like that and you attack them like that, you could get in serious trouble. I mean...
No, you can't. The Illuminati don't exist. It would be like saying, oh, if you call out... What was the bad guys in G.I. Joe? Was it Cobra? Was Cobra Commander the commander of Cobra? Was the whole evil organization Cobra? Cobra! It would be like saying, you're going to get in trouble if you badmouth Cobra. They're going to come at you with their weather dominator. And it's like, no, they're not. They're not real. The Illuminati aren't real. Lin Wood is crazy. Lin Wood is not allowed to practice law in his home state until he receives a mental health evaluation, which he is refusing to have. Surprise.
And your life is in danger, but Lin Wood is confident enough to...
Let's look this up real quick. Lin Wood Bar Association. Mental health. Yeah, the Georgia State Bar is demanding he take a mental health exam or else he can't practice law. Linwood, a conservative lawyer who pushed repeatedly to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in favor of former President Donald Trump, is suing the attorney licensing body that wants him to undergo a mental health evaluation. In a federal lawsuit filed in Atlanta, Wood alleged that in asking him to submit to a mental health examination, the members of the Georgia State Bar's disciplinary board are violating his free speech rights. So yeah, they've revoked his license until such a time that he undergoes a mental health evaluation because he's acting crazy.
Call out the crimes of the Bidens, the Bushes, the Clintons, and all these people, and call it the Illuminati.
The Illuminati of a national organization website. Those are people that made it up after conspiracy theorists already came up with the idea of the Illuminati.
Because they've been neutered. They have no power anymore. They aren't a threat to the world. So if you're asking, so what's next? Well,
I wonder how Peter feels about Biden's speech yesterday. Biden gave his first speech to Congress on his, 100th day in office or something like that. The polling shows that people mostly liked it. I didn't actually watch it just because, I don't really care. I think, here's my opinion on Biden. I don't agree with everything he does, but so far he's actually done better than I thought he would on a lot of things. Some things he's done worse. Kind of what I expected. Anyway, a majority of polled people said they liked it because Americans are swayed by rhetoric very easily, and they like old grandpa vibes, I guess. But anyway, he's clearly the president. He gave a speech to Congress, so I wonder how Peter feels about that, considering he's been spreading conspiracy theories about Joe Biden not actually being the president.
Step one was to win the battle. We've done that, so we can just relax. Step two is a little tricky too, because step two is going to be awakening the masses to a bunch of truths that are very, very difficult to swallow. And I'm going to be here with Peter Sky High Politics, really giving you that bigger perspective, helping you digest these truths that are going to be released from an optimistic perspective, because as has been said, the truth would put 99% of the people in the hospital. And I still believe that this is something that, 17 has said. And so that is the next step. It's going to be a little turbulent emotionally. But if you've been worried about, your safety and the economy and how the United States can do, relax. That part is nothing to worry about.
It's so weird hearing Peter talk about the economy as if it's ever affected him. Again, I'm not trying to denigrate Peter in any way. I just want us to understand the perspective from which he is talking about these real-world issues. Peter is a 32-year-old man who lives with his parents. He has 2 kids, a 3rd kid on the way. He lives with his parents. He lives with his parents, who are part of what is, in my opinion, a cult. A gun cult. He doesn't have a real job. To my knowledge, he's never held down a real job for a long period of time. And he's trying to talk to us about the real world like he knows what he's talking about. It's wild.
Based on my research, from credible sources that I just mentioned.
Yeah, and Giuliani's house or apartment just got searched and they seized his electronic devices. I wonder how Peter feels about that.
And we've completely won. Trump has not made a single mistake from what I can tell. Everything's gone perfect.
Trump has never made a mistake, which is why he lost the election and then lost dozens of election lawsuits. He's nailing it right now.
Perfectly according to plan. The plan was for Biden to win.
Oh, now the plan is for Biden to win. Weren't you just saying like a month ago that you thought Biden wasn't actually in office? During our discussion that we had, Peter, you even tried to claim to me that Biden wasn't in the Oval Office and that it was a fake Oval Office, but now you've moved the goalposts to it was all part of the plan that he would win and he is in the Oval Office? Interesting.
Was for Biden to get inaugurated and Mike to certify him. That's all part of the plan. This literally is going perfectly according to plan. And it's probably because of Trump's Project Looking Glass, which is a technology that allows him to see the future based on different moves that he makes. So it's basically the ultimate cheat. With this Project Looking Glass technology, he can easily win the battle. And it appears the battle's over pretty much almost no casualties.
He and many other believers in this particular conspiracy theory believe that Donald Trump has access to... Some people... The story has evolved over time. Some people said it was time travel, and it's evolved since then into more of a belief that he has some sort of technology that uses predictive algorithms with a quantum computer, because they don't understand what quantum computers are, to tell you the future, basically. They think Trump can see the future.
That means he's done amazing. A+, perfect.
He's done amazing. A+, perfect. 500,000 dead people. You're nailing it.
Perfect job, Trump. He's nailed it. We've won. We just be excited. But, like I said, now that we've won the battle and it's all over, the next step is going to be facing a lot of startling, uncomfortable truths. That's why I made Peter Sky High Politics, because I think we're going to be given the bigger picture from a sky high perspective, and I want to be there to help you guys digest these truths from Optimist's perspective and be able to handle it, because a lot of heavy things are coming. But the good news is we won, so we don't have that much to worry about.
This cope is sad. This cope is so sad. I talked about this in previous Peter videos too, but I want to talk about what, in my uninformed, uneducated opinion, is going on here with Peter and his desperation to believe that Donald Trump is coming back. Peter, like I've described his life, kind of has a sad life. I mean, if he's happy, that's wonderful, and I'm happy for him. I'm really genuinely not trying to denigrate the way he lives, because, you know, the world is a rough place, and he wasn't, you know, exactly, you know, handed a great hand when he was born. You know, he was born into like a cult situation, in my opinion. His parents are a big part of this cult, and I can't imagine he was raised to have the greatest critical thinking skills when presented with some authority trying to tell you a crazy story, you know, which made him susceptible to Q in the first place. But on top of that, he's in a situation where he has almost 3 kids, he's married, he's unemployed, other than doing the YouTube stuff, which he doesn't make very much money on, and he's been demonetized anyway, his Patreon's been deleted, and he's living with his parents, like I said, with a family, unable to support them, and he probably looks around at his life and thinks, like, man, I'm not doing very well. I can't support my family on my own, especially considering he's more conservative, and conservatives tend to put a lot of weight on gender roles, and him being the father, unable to provide for his family, probably provides him with a lot of shame. I don't think he should feel that, for the record. I'm just trying to explain what I think he's probably feeling based on what I understand about Peter. So he probably feels a little bit of shame for not being able to support his family. And he's looking around and trying to come up with an explanation for why his life turned out the way it did. You know, why is my life like this? Why can't I support my family? Why this? Why that? Why whatever? And then all of a sudden, conspiracy theorists come along and give an easy answer. That answer to him is, oh, it's the deep state, it's the cabal, they've subverted America and all of our institutions into making a world where I can't live like I live in Leave It to Beaver. I can't, you know, go to work every day and my wife stay at home and yada, 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 whatever his problems are. Then he gets to blame it on Democrats and Satanists and the Illuminati and the cabal and what have you. And then it provides an easy solution. That solution being Trump is the savior, and he's going to come and save you. He's already been primed for this, by the way, based on his religious beliefs. He's primed to believe that there is some supreme savior narrative that's going to come and solve all your problems without you having to do anything. So instead of Peter actually taking action in his own life that could be positive for him, looking for a stable job, looking for some way to provide for his family or self-improve or get away from living with his parents, you know, stuff like that. Instead of that, he has latched onto this easy fix idea that Donald Trump is just going to step in and fix everything, and all of a sudden his life will fall into place and he'll be successful. And it's really, really sad, because not only is it, of course, untrue and dangerous, as we saw on January 6th, that this kind of belief can get people to take really dangerous, violent action, but also it basically stalls Peter in place. He can't progress as a person because he doesn't think he has to, because he thinks a savior, Donald Trump, is going to come along and fix everything for him without him having to change. That's not good. That's really not good for Peter. So I hope at some point he can come to his senses and realize if he wants things in his life to change, then he needs to take action himself, and action that is positive for him and his family and his community, right? Getting a regular job, working it, and doing a good job at it. Finding something he's passionate about that's real instead of this conspiracy theory. Have you ever seen the episode of The Twilight Zone with William Shatner that isn't the one where he's on the plane with the gremlin? There's an episode of The Twilight Zone where William Shatner and his wife are going across the country. They're going across the country, and is it gonna... No sensitive media on Tumblr. Oh, did I lose the picture now? Here it is. Okay, he and his fiance are going across the country, and he's going to move for a new job. They stop at a diner, and this diner at the table has this little fortune teller machine that you put a penny in, and you ask it a yes or no question, and it's like a magic 8-ball, basically. It shoots out little cards. Throughout the episode, he starts to think he's seeing patterns in the fortunes that are coming out of the machine. He works himself into this conspiratorial frenzy where he doesn't want to take any action if the machine doesn't tell him to, much like Peter, right? Peter is stuck in this diner being this conspiracy, but instead of this penny fortune teller machine, it's scam artists like Lin Wood and Mike Lindell trying to give messages to him. And at the end of the episode, William Shatner does break out. His wife or fiance tells him, you know, you can't live your life based on these false hopes and this belief that someone's going to tell you all the answers to life. You need to go live your life for yourself and improve based on what you think is best, not what on someone else is telling you is best for sure based on some fortune magic conspiracy bullshit, right? Or the magic conch. That's another one. So Shatner and his wife leave, and it's a happy ending, but of course, Twilight Zone twist, another couple walks in as they're leaving, and this couple has clearly been in the town for years at the will of this penny fortune teller machine, which every time when they ask it, can we leave the town today? It tells them no. They've become a slave to their own superstition. They've become a slave to this idea that they have to listen to this supernatural cultish authority and can't step outside it to improve themselves or do what they actually want to do with their life. Now, Peter has the option here. He can either become the William Shatner character and decide, you know what, all this conspiracy stuff, it's not true. I'm holding on to it because it makes life simpler and easier to give my agency away to someone else and just say someone else will fix the problems in my life. But it's a prison of my own design. Or he can become like the people at the end of the episode who fully surrender their will over to this machine, in this case, the entire scammy con artist 17Q apparatus that's telling people all this false information and getting their hopes up, and he'll never progress in life ever again. He'll be in this prison of his own making. He can make that choice. It's up to him. And I really hope he can progress, because Peter, he's misguided, but I think deep down somewhere he's a good guy. He's positive, he's nice, he's polite. He's been misguided, and that misguided nature has led him down some really dark paths and allowed him to harbor hatred against people who don't deserve it and who haven't done anything to him. So I hope he can break out of this cycle, but who knows?
Like,
hello, Baja.
The worst thing coming our way is that we have to be told the truth. That's pretty good. I'll take that deal any day of the week. So be excited, guys. Everything's amazing. I am so excited right now. I'm just giddy. I'm like, all right, we won. What's next? What? So basically, we're gonna see the destruction of the deep.
What's next? What's first? What do you think happened that says you won? You still haven't explained.
Deep state. We're gonna see arrests, military tribunals. When will Trump be back? Don't know. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, but it doesn't really matter because the military.
Notice that he subtly is moving the goalposts again. Mike Lindell, a month or so ago, offhandedly mentioned that Trump was going to be back in August, which is May, June, July, August, 4 months away. But now, and that was what Peter was like, oh, he's definitely going to be back by August. Mike Lindell said, I would bet money he'll be back by August. And now he's saying it could be up to 9 months away. He's already shifting the goalposts away from the 4 months that Mike Lindell had said previously.
Military is still being commanded by the good guys, and as General Flynn said, don't worry guys, there's a ton of people working to save everyone on Earth and protect everyone on Earth. In other words, General Flynn's admitting that the good guys command the military. So it doesn't matter necessarily when Trump's coming back. What matters is that we won and we have all the power. And that...
Again, this is, and I'm not meaning this in the meme way, I mean this in like the psychological way. Peter is having such a hard time coping with the dissonance between his fantasy that he has modeled in his mind based on information, false information given to him by people like Mike Lindell and Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell, Q, etc., etc. And he's trying to reconcile that with reality. They told him if the Democrats took power, which the Democrats are in power right now, just barely, that the world was going to end, and if Donald Trump wasn't in power, then the world was forfeit, and everyone's freedoms were going to end, and things would be terrible. And they're not, right? He has to deal with the idea that we're 100 days into the Biden presidency, and everything's fine. It's fine. It's better than it was under Trump. It's still not great, you know, but slow progress is kind of how things work in this country, unfortunately. So he has to try and reconcile his crazy beliefs with the idea that things actually are fine right now, more or less. So he has to come up with this cope to believe we've already won. We must have already won. Things are okay. Not only that, but if he thinks that he's lost or that his group has lost in some way, it's imaginary anyway, so it doesn't matter, but in his mind, he can't handle that psychologically, so he has to say, no, we must have won. We have to win. We've already won. He thinks life is a movie. So it's interesting seeing him go through this. It's very strange. He's in denial, basically. He's in the denial stage.
We're in the final stage of this plan, which is just to awaken the masses, the Great Awakening. That's the final stage. So I'm so excited to deliver this news on my first episode of Peter's Trump Updates, because this is the best news you could hear. Like, what a great Trump update. Like, Trump's done perfect, guys. We can just relax and enjoy the show. I mean, do get involved in politics. Support people. Share this video. If you can, donate to me. Right now, I'm 100% donation funded right now. If you've gotten this far in this video and you're like a big fan of mine,
I'm also donation funded.
I am donation.
I'm just better at it than Peter.
Donation funded right now. They took down my Patreon account and my YouTube account because I was being too...
My Patreon's still up, to my knowledge. Speaking of which, my patron-only live stream, which got pushed from last month, I really apologize for that. I'm going to do two here in May to make up for it. Maybe even a third one if I can, just because I feel bad. But May... Hold on, I'm trying to see when the first... May 2nd is going to be our patron-only live stream. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to try and get together some games for us to play. Like Among Us, maybe some Cards Against Humanity type games that you can play online. We're probably going to... We'll figure something out. It'll be a good time. So come check it out. Throw me a buck or something on Patreon if you want to be a part of that. All right, ad over.
Too truthful. And people...
I'm sorry. We're a community supported channel, so I really appreciate, you know, the fact that I can do this with you guys.
They're like, no, it's not because you're being too truthful. It's because you were lying. Says the Democrats who are brainwashed. Yeah. To them, it...
FL Sun says, I really got the impression that he had some level of respect for Hannah when they talked. I feel like he isn't still watching these streams about him, and that's unfortunate, and I think it would help him. Maybe, maybe not.
It appears that I'm lying, but the Republicans watching this know that I'm telling the truth. They trust Mike Lindell, Lynn Wood, General Flynn, Trump, and since those are my sources, you know it's going to be amazing. But please, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like...
What time will it be? But 4 or so Eastern time, roughly. It'll probably go 2 or 3 hours.
We can relax now. Like, the battle's over. But
I assume whatever games we're playing, and now it's just talking about the Patreon thing, and I'm sorry, we'll get to the Peter thing in a sec. We'll we'll probably take turns cycling people in and out of games, because the games, I assume, will probably have more people watching than games. Although maybe some people won't want to play the games and they'll just want to watch, and that's fine. But if we have to, we'll cycle people in and out and just have a good time. It'll be fun.
But please stay politically active. Wake up people. Be part of the Great Awakening. Share information like this. Cheer people up. And support financially. You know, there's the Rangers, the people who are protecting the audit in Arizona.
Oh, God, the Arizona audit is such a mess. The Arizona audit, for those who don't know, which I think is in Maricopa County, is being run by a company whose CEO is a QAnon believer. Yeah, they're going to manufacture some bullshit, and it's going to be awful. Courts and stuff will look at it and throw it out, but they're just going to throw more poison in the well, so to speak, and try and throw suspicion on the election, even though it was a fine election. It was secure. It was good.
Arizona, they're asking people to donate money to them. You can donate to the Save America PAC for Trump. You can donate to me. I think fighting with your money, your prayers, and with information is like the ideal step forward, next step for all of us. So that's what I'm doing, fighting with my money, my prayers, and my information to help wake people up. Not necessarily to win this battle, because the battle is pretty much won.
How is it legal to hire a biased party to audit? Yeah, it's fucked up.
On at this point, but just to help wake people up, I think videos like this are important. And like I said, Peter's Sky High Politics is all about trying to help wake people up without them having a psychologically startling event that's going to put them in a mental institution. So that is my goal. I think this is what...
The irony of Peter concerned about other people winding up in a mental institution is not funny. It is interesting, though.
I'm really going to be focusing on Peter Sky High Politics, because I think that a show that can really ground people when they hear frightening information is going to definitely be helpful to the world. And I really want to help people. If I don't get any more donations, I'm still going to make the show. This is my donation to the world. This is my way of fighting. But I have got 2 donations this month, and I really, really appreciate the 2 people who donated. If you can donate, $5, $10, it makes a big difference. I am 100% funded by your donations right now. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this update. Hope you're excited. It's all going to be amazing, guys. We have a lot to look forward to. We've won. This battle's over. Share this video with your conservatives. And if you really want to know the details, definitely check out Peter's Sky High Politics, Episode 3.
This is unsettling, him being this close to the camera and looking right into my soul. It's eerie. Oh, I was talking with Baha earlier about this, and she pointed out that he looks like John Walker, U.S. agent. And then I decided if I was a hacky comic book writer, I would create a character based on Peter, who would be a conspiracy theorist who's been somehow given the super soldier serum, and he would become QS agent, and he would attack people and politicians based on crazy conspiracy theories.
Coming out exclusively on my Rumble account, which you can find in the description below. It's just going to be so good. It's so good. I'm just not going to allow this one to be censored. It has to be released in full, uncensored, and it's going to be amazing. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, exciting, hopeful, happy, optimistic day.
So that's Peter. Still coping. Not great.